Hey, welcome back to the shop. My name is Eric, and I thought today we would talk about a couple different things. And I've had a number of you guys talk about wanting to see more farm video tractor repairs. And that tells me that you guys are also thinking about getting into that niche market. And so I thought we'd talk a little bit about that today. And I also want to talk about Husqvarna and the plant closures and where that's all headed. And why all the back orders on OEM parts for this stuff. And then lastly, what I would like to bring in would be, what can you do, or what should you be doing as a shop owner to stay in business? Alright, so on the tractor side, between yesterday and today I did 4 estimates on tractors. Be new customers, never dealt with them before in my life. And I always get this, can you come take a look and give me a ballpark of what it would cost to fix it? So I went and looked at 2 internationals. One was, and you have to listen to what they're saying, but also you have to know the equipment. Now, this was an international tractor, and the problem is that sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't, as far as shifting. And I said, have you done anything to it? And she said, yes, that my dad and my uncle adjusted the foot pedal, the clutch pedal, because it was hard to push. So I got on it, started right up, put it into all 4 gears and all reverse gears, and it did the same thing. It would just try to creep and stop. I said, did it work before they adjusted that clutch pedal? And she said, yeah, it was working fine, but it was just hard to push. And she was looking at replacing the clutch and pressure plate and all that. So I gave her 2 quotes. One is, if we have to split the tractor, this is what it's going to cost you. And I know it's going to cost $1,200-$1,500 just in labor, just to split it and put it back together, plus parts. But knowing the fact, listening to her say that it worked fine until they adjusted the clutch pedal itself, led me to believe that it wasn't a clutch problem, it was how they have it adjusted. And on a lot of those tractors, especially the internationals, they have a bottom plate on them that you can take off, and you can adjust the actual clutch there, and that's where you want to start. Not on the foot pedal, it's on the disc itself. And I also gave her an estimate on that same tractor if it was just an adjustment on it and getting where it moved and everything else, and that was around $500-$600. They also had another international that it kept overheating, and the husband had put silver solder on the outside of the radiator, and she thought that might have damaged it, but that wouldn't have. And she thought that they took the thermostat out because they were under the impression that if it's really running hot, take the thermostat completely out, and just that way it'll stay cool on hot days. And she wanted to know what it would cost to replace the radiator. And I asked her, I said, has it ever been flushed before? I mean, that radiator is almost $600. And she also explained that they had problems with the 3-point hitch, that it wouldn't stay up solid. It was like surging, where it come up and then down, come up and then down, come up and then down. So I told her, I said that here's what we can do. Well, let's get it into the shop and figure out exactly what needs to be fixed. diagnosing it, and then I can give you a better idea. We can fix the heating issue of getting too hot, overheating, and we probably can fix the surging as well, but it requires taking the seat off, the whole back plate off. I mean, it's the biggest thing is time-consuming labor is where it costs you. So with doing that with her, she ended up saying, come get both tractors. They're still sitting there. I got to get them today or tomorrow. We brought a Polaris four-wheel drive tractor in, and that's leaking around the remotes and stuff, and then also on one of the lower plates on the four-wheel drive. And we didn't get that off the trailer yesterday because we had wicked thunder and lightning storms and everything. And then I've got a Ford 2000 that's coming in this morning that the customer is delivering to me, and it ran 2 years ago, but they haven't been able to get it running ever since. And everybody asks the same thing, about what is it going to cost. And I know money is tight. That's how I can tell it's even tighter. Or it's one of two things. Either they've been burnt before, or somebody overcharged them on something, or the checkbook is lean, is what I call. And everybody has that problem. I don't know of anybody that has so much money that they can just buy whatever they want. Well, they're dropping that off shortly. So that's 4 in 1 day, 2 days that I've gone and looked at. So we're starting to stack up pretty heavy here with tractors. Normally I like to see those come in the fall and winter because they're great projects, especially if you're splitting tractors. So I'm going to try to do some videos on them when we start. We're doing one at a time. I got to get the Polaris off the trailer today. I've got a load of hay, round beds I got to get unloaded, so we're probably not going to get anything videos on the fixing today. So the next thing is Husqvarna. What the heck's going on with Husqvarna and the back ordering parts and everything else? And why are they shutting down all these plants? That's easy. Follow the money. One of the biggest things that most businesses incur when they're setting up shop in the U.S. is, one is heavily regulated, 2, employees' wages and the perks that go with it, with the medical, and it gets really expensive. So what they end up doing is instead of staying here and employing people here in the U.S., they're going to Brazil, Poland, and China. Because what's there? Well, they've got a cheap labor market. People work for a little bit of nothing because they don't have anything, so anything is better than nothing. They don't have all the rules and regulations and the EPA sniffing down on them. And lastly, this is just my opinion. Okay, it's always been that the big box stores, and that includes Amazon, they're trying to compete selling to the masses. So they only run like a couple different models, the homeowners models, but they buy 10,000s of them. Well, Lowe's will buy a crap load, and Tractor Supply will buy a crap load, but they're pre-buying and they're getting a discount for volume buying. And that's where they're making their money. And they can still compete as far as with the local dealers, because the local dealers can't sell what they're selling for that same price and make any money. They go backwards. So it's always been kind of this thing with the big box stores will carry one or two models of each from each manufacturer. Okay, they're the low end, entry level, sell to the masses. Price point has got to be good. Credit cards, sell. Your dealers like us, we've had the niche basically of one, carrying and getting OEM parts. Two, carrying a better line of equipment from each manufacturer. You know, you can't go to Home Depot, Lowe's, Tractor Supply and get a Pro Series riding lawnmower. But if you went to your local Cub Cadet dealer, now you've got plenty of options. If he doesn't have it sitting on the lot, he can order it for you. And the sky's the limit on what you want and how much you're willing to pay and all the options that you want. So what's actually taking place? Well, if we go all green, if we go battery on all of our small engine equipment, what happens? What really happens to your local dealer? Well, now your local dealer can't compete with Lowe's, Home Depot, and all the other ones, because now are the dealers going to say they carry a heavier duty battery operated piece of equipment? Probably not. Now they're getting the all market. They'll get full market share. If they can get into battery, then the big box stores and Amazon will eliminate a lot of smaller dealers that are even trying to go green, because they can't match the price point. The only way you're going to be able to stay in business is great customer service, and that used to be very critical, but I think it's less now, because most of the customers are looking for where is the best price. Now, if they're looking at Lowe's, and Lowe's is selling a battery operated lawnmower for $400, I don't know what it is, $400, we'll leave it at that. Your local dealer can get the same one, but he's going to have to sell it for $475, because Lowe's is selling it at or below what it costs the dealer to have it in their shop. And then when it comes to fixing, you can sell batteries, I guess, but are the smaller shops going to be able to compete with the big box stores and Amazon? I don't think so. So that's where I think it's been heading, is one, lower the cost of the item by going overseas with manufacturing. We don't care that in a town of 4,000 people, 600 people that were employed at that factory just lost their jobs. We don't care, right? Because we want whatever is the cheapest model for us. And the government isn't willing to drop any regulations, because that's this administration's agenda, is go green, all electric or battery operated, and get rid of the gasoline engine if possible. That's still quite a ways away, yeah, because you still have everybody. I mean, my yard is full of gas power stuff. My customers have all got gas power stuff. It's going to be a gradual thing. But the swing you're going to see is more and more shops go out of business, because just carrying the same thing that Lowe's and Home Depot and Amazon have isn't going to be good enough. And the other thing that's going on with a lot of these dealerships, and Husqvarna is not the only one, back orders. If you ask any shop if you ask Tractor Supply, that can sometimes get those parts for their equipment, they're all facing back orders. And a couple things are going on there. What I've been seeing more and more of is a lot of your main brand manufacturers doing a couple different things. One is they're changing models more frequently, and they're discontinuing the parts for the older models. And again, my opinion, I think the direction it's headed is they're trying to get you to get rid of your old stuff and keep buying new. And when I say get rid of your old stuff, if you can't fix it, what happens to it? Yeah. Yard ornament. Ask any dealer, do they incur any kind of back orders on parts, OEM parts? And I guarantee you, 90% or better are going to tell you, we still have stuff on back order. And we've had to refund customers because the part never showed up. And why is the manufacturer even selling stuff that they don't have parts for? See, it used to be, we'll take Homelight for an example. Homelight would carry the same carburetor on a number of different generators. You had a couple different CCs, but it had the same carburetor. So it was a common part to get across the board. But now what you're seeing is each model has got a different carburetor on it. Each model has got different parts on it. And if they haven't discontinued it already, then they're hitting where they're not stocking. They're not ordering parts ahead to get to their dealers to keep people's machines going. So back orders are a terrible thing right now. A lot of people have not got their stuff back because dealers are still sitting on it waiting for a back order to come in. And that's not fair to the dealer, and that's not fair to the customer. Don't tell me the manufacturer didn't think this through, because they did. They're not stupid. There's a reason behind it. And that's because they're all starting to jump on the same bandwagon of going green, so they're discontinuing plants that are making the aftermarket part or the OEM parts and stuff and the overseas parts to concentrating more on battery operated stuff. And the big push right now, I'll tell you, with Husqvarna is their self-propelled battery unit that mows your yard and you do nothing. It plots out where the yard is and it starts up when it's supposed to, goes mows the yard, goes back into its charger, and there it sits. But those models are like $4,000 or $5,000. But you never have to mow your yard again. But a lot of the batteries that are in them are $600-$700. And if you have to replace that battery every couple of years, that starts to get expensive over a 10-year period. And that's not to mention the ones that were starting to overheat and catch fire. Yeah. What can we do as shops to stay relevant? Well, it's still a ways down the road. You can try bringing the green stuff in, but you're just going to push it faster down the road, and the big box stores and Amazon are going to be the winners at the end of the day. And the overseas, China will be a winner, but the U.S. worker will be the loser. The U.S. consumer will be the loser. So on that note, you guys have a great day. And like I say, we'll get some videos with the tractor repairs and stuff for you guys that are interested in that. Keep the comments coming. I've said before, this channel isn't about me. It's about you and what you want. And I'm all for learning too. I'm not that smart, I guess. I've always held an open mind of willing to learn anything new that comes down the pike. And you guys are showing me and telling me through the comments of different things that you guys are doing that's working great for you. And they're great ideas. Great comments. So I appreciate that. All right. On that note, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video.